what do you think, if, because maybe you see it a little bit more I mean, I know you're not in that field, but maybe you have colleagues or family members, like, what do you think it is that keeps people so stuck and ingrained in that way of thinking of like, well, I can't change anything. Like I have my dad, he's like 65, he's got prostate cancer, stage 8. He's like, well, I'm just old. I'm like, dude, you're 65. Like, that's not old. Like, what is it?
It's the freaking patriarchy, dude. I
Absolutely.
don't know what else. What's the
Sure,
other
right?
word? Like,
It's like the drug companies and the research that's being done. The research is being done on like just like blanket, like every woman. They're not doing research. I mean, we don't have the funding. Nobody's gonna like pay to like research our clients. Like, why? What are they gonna sell them? Like, green, kale or something, right? Like,
And do you
well,
think, go ahead.
I was just
I
going
don't
to say,
know.
I mean, the reality is we do have a lot of the things we do with people and individuals has really good clinical data to back it up at this point. Like we know we can change egg quality. We know these nutrients are working for
Yes.
sperm quality. We know all this stuff. I mean, we have like nutrients that can help you with your implantation. We've got all kinds of stuff. The problem is it takes 20 years from those clinical research trials to make it into clinical practice. So us practitioners, we're like going to all these fertility conferences and doing all the research in fertility. My inbox is like microbiome and fertility all day long right now. It's like you just need to work with somebody who's totally on top of the data and ahead of it. You know what I mean? Who's asking the next question? That's what it's about. And it's like finding that information. It is out there. It's just not in the general mainstream medical.
Yeah. Yeah. It's very interesting
It's
to
coming though.
watch.
Like what the research
Yeah.
that's being shown now versus the research that we were shown when we were in medical school is next level different.
Yeah.
So it's coming, it's evolving. We're getting there.
Except
Except women are just, there's still problems here. I recently had an EKG. You guys, anyone had an EKG? It's like the first thing they do when they look at your heart for something. And I go in and the woman's like, oh, your EKG is all over the place. This is the cardiologist. I'm like, what do you mean? There's nothing wrong with my heart. What's wrong? And she's like, oh, don't worry. People like of your build, it just doesn't work. So I'm not going to be surprised when we go to the echo and it's totally normal. I'm not really suspecting anything's wrong. I'm like, well, I know nothing's wrong. So like, why are we doing EKGs on women that it doesn't work on and we can't rely on it? I'm so confused right now.
Yeah. Yeah. It's very interesting.
Yeah.
All right. So you're in the thick of your fertility journey. You're listening to this podcast. You show up to your summits that are happening in May, and you're feeling empowered. And then all of a sudden, a month later, you're disempowered. What is your top advice for them to relight that candle?
My advice is to give yourself some time to heal and like kind of lean into like everything has its cycle, just like, we follow the cycle of the moon, we follow the cycle of the sun. And sometimes we're going to go through these waves where we feel super empowered. And then it's kind of natural maybe to come down a little bit. So just nourish yourself, pamper yourself, give yourself a little bit of time, and then be like, on this day, I'm going to step back into my power and then just start ramping it back up again. But know that, we as women, our body, mind and spirit, we go through the wave cycle, right? I
Yeah,
think it's okay.
absolutely. It's like a ocean roller coaster.
Mm.
I always have a list. I have our patients a lot make a list of things that make you happy and things, that don't. And we're trying to get those out of their lives a little bit, but like have a reminder somewhere. I have a lot of times if I'm going through something, I put something on my refrigerator, like you love music, just to remind myself, oh my God, when I'm in my kitchen, I could just be listening to music.
Mhm.
And that alone will help shift my field because I love music.
Yeah.
And I start to dance. And then I'm listening to the lyrics and I'm now in art and I'm in somebody else's sphere pouring art into me. And so my problem is further away. And
Yeah.
like like we get to reach for a better feeling thought and we get to reach for a higher vibration when we're ready. Sometimes we can't remember what that is. So like
have it around, do the work when you feel amazing to remember what it is that helps you feel amazing, so that when you don't feel, when you need help, you know where to go.
Yeah, it's find your joy, right? I mean, fertility is a byproduct of life. And I feel like if you start living life, fertility will come, it will bloom, and it will seem to be quicker, like you get time back because you're not so hyper focused on that area.